feet tucked in while your family weeps.
What it good do? Y'all know what it is. What's up? What's up? This is Wolfgang Amadeus, set in the West, y'all. I'm in the building. Appreciate y'all coming in on a happy Thanksgiving. You know, that's the real name of the holiday. Happy Thanksgiving. Maybe I'll cam up. I don't know. We shall see. But welcome. What's up, everybody? Let me see. Let me bring that down a little bit. What's up? Y'all hear me good? Everything's good? How we doing? Yeah, Josh, that track, that is Ras Kass. Well, Black Diamond featuring Ras Kass. And that song is called West Coast Spitters, produced by me and my man's rest in peace, Drew Infinite. Yeah, we keeping it hip hop. That's what it is, yo. What's up, Alina? What's up, Myrna? What's up, Pat Blair? Everybody is in the building. Jag, you're in the house. What's up? Jaguar Wright is in the building, y'all. What's up?
Aye.
Oh yeah, you sound very nice and loud. How do I sound? My mic sound
You,
nice?
yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Yeah. Oh, appreciate you, Alina. There happy thanks taken.
Throw some
There it
stuffing
is.
on it.
Exactly. Yeah, we're just trying something out. We're trying to see how this format that everybody is playing with. Yeah, we got you. Thanks taken. I understand. That's what it is. Thanks taken. And I'm doing something untraditional, not traditional, because I think everybody right now is talking about a whole lot of other things that are going on the internet, like breaking news, right? Ray J, all that, whatever that was going on with Ray J. Maybe I'll talk about it a little bit, but I don't know. I just said let me throw a curveball, and I'm gonna speak on some very good hip hop commentary interview. I'll just say that I saw an interview. Shout out to the company man, Justin Hunt. He he had a members only interview that was out for him. That was in his members only chat for a minute, and he just dropped it today with Ras Kass. And there's only so many. Like, I don't see a lot of very well produced or just good interviews anymore, especially of people of in hip hop. And he did an excellent job. Excellent job. So shout out to him. Shout out to Ras Kass. Y'all go check out the interview, the whole entire interview. It's on the company man. That's the name of his channel, Justin Hunt. Real hip hop dude, real hip hop MC. And I said I wanted to talk about Ras, and I figured this is the best way to talk about him. It just came because I always said, number one, y'all can hate all y'all want. Illmatic is a great album. But I'm putting Ras Kass's first album, Soul on Ice, a little bit above Illmatic, and that's Nas's first album. Just because, number one, I'm a little biased because I'm from the coast, but
that's Nas's best album.
That is Nas's, and I love Illmatic.
That's Nas's best album.
But Ras Kass's Soul on Ice, if you listen to it, it is very honest. It's hip hop to the core.
Let me be very clear with you. You're not getting any argument out of me when it comes to that. Soul on Ice is probably one of the best hip hop albums ever released, and it's so funny because there was a lot of things that weren't acknowledged during the 50th anniversary of hip hop.
Yep.
And that album and Ras Kass was one of them.
Yeah, you can't say real true, and I'm not taking nothing away from Nas's Illmatic, because Illmatic is like hands down certified. What did it get in the Source magazine at the time? That was the barometer. I think it got 5 mics. I think Nas's album got 5 mics.
I believe so.
Yeah. So I'm not taking nothing away from Nas.
This isn't great. About taking anything away from him. This is saying this. All right, let's take it away from hip hop and let's steer straight to jazz.
Yeah.
Bitches Brew and A Love Supreme.
Okay.
To me, that would be like Illmatic and Soul on Ice.
Gotcha. The Source,
you know what I mean?
The Source gave Raz's album 3 mics.
I know.
That's disrespectful. It should at least be 4 mics, but I get it. The Source bias as well, because I think they're East Coast based.
Not just that. It's deeper than that. Let's be very clear. The Source started pushing what we now know as rap culture agenda back then.
Yeah.
We were already steering it in that direction. The stuff that Ras Kass was saying, like, the great thing about Nas's album is it was highly informative, highly intelligent. Wordplay, the tracks, all of that was awesome. But the one thing, and the reason why I think it got the universal push that it got, is because it didn't say anything that actually offended anyone.
There you go.
He really did a very good job at stepping on nobody's toes at all.
Yeah.
For it to be such a groundbreaking project, it was actually a very safe project. He didn't attack any of the real systemic issues, even though he talked about the real systemic issues. He didn't really go after putting responsibility and accountability on the community or the powers that be. Even though he talked about the breakdown of all of these things that happened. It's really funny. It was like acknowledging a corpse, but not acknowledging the autopsy.
Great analogy.
So when you look at Soul on Ice with Ras Kass says, here's the corpse, and I'm going to tell you how it ended up this way. And he went through the autopsy, injury for injury, blow for blow, contusion for contusion, abrasion for abrasion. He didn't skip over anything. That's the difference between those two projects.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, please correct.
No. You are right. I was gonna pull up something. Somebody tweeted something the other day, and I was dying because I thought about Raz's album and I thought about Illmatic. Again, I said Raz's album, Soul on Ice, is a very honest album. Now, it's funny because somebody made a joke and said, they got a Twitter thread saying, or X thread saying, hip hop's biggest lies. And, they got all these people with these verses or whatever, lying or whatever. Somebody threw in Nas saying, I went to hell at 12 for snuffing Jesus. And then they had a picture of Nas at 12 years old. That shit was funny. And it's a joke, but it's kind of like, that's what I meant by that album being greater in my opinion, because Ras Kass was just honest with it. It was, and I understand. Like, I got cousins that went through the situation that he went through in that album. He tells a lot in that album. And then you right, as far as what he was saying on that album. First off, Nas had to be safe. Who was it? Searchlight Publishing. He was at MC Search, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now Ras was Priority, Patchwork, just Raw, and he said what he said. In fact, he paid the ultimate price because that song that everybody don't want to talk about, but they talk about, is called Nature of the Threat, where it's funny, he drops a whole lot of just science about racism in the world, on the world stage with that album, like a chronological breakdown of it. And then he gets to the middle of the album, or the middle of that song, and he starts talking about Thanksgiving of all things.
Yeah.
That's why you see, that's why I'm kind of I'm tying in the theme. And what did he say? If y'all haven't heard Raz's song Nature of the Threat, Thanksgiving, what did he say? Now listen, when you celebrate Thanksgiving, what you're actually celebrating is the proclamation of the Pope of Rome, who later with Queen Isabella basically came up with this whole lie. The way he broke down history though, going back, it's crazy. Like, and that, like I said, I'll share with y'all, that cost him his career. Him coming out with a debut album saying such things like that cost him his career. And that's pretty much why I want to talk about a few things today about Raz's interview with Justin Hunt and how excellent it was. And I've always said this too. His career, his stunted growth, the stuff that happened to him in his career I see similar parallels to Jaguar Wright's situation that happened like in the career. The same pattern, I would say. Both dope, incredible artists, but they both had compromised growth and industry suppression. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, I can see that. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I mean, the truth is, he and I have a lot of things in common, though we were never friends. We have a lot in common. And a lot of the same people that worked so hard to move me around did the same thing to him. You know, this interview, it was very interesting to hear some of the things that he had to say. And honestly, some of it caught me by surprise because I'm sitting there listening to him spit game and then be completely blind to other things that should be obvious to him.
Well, let's get into it because that's what it's about right now. I was shocked when you was breaking some stuff down when we were listening to this interview, and I'm like, yeah, wait, what? And you're like, yeah, he started mentioning certain things. He started saying certain things, and I said, oh, wait, what? And you gave it more context, and I said, oh, we're gonna talk about it. Look, so let me go ahead and play an excerpt from the interview. Again, fair
Let's get
use,
into it.
but Justin Hunt gave me permission. He said, go ahead, rock with it. So shout out to him. Like I said, go check out the full interview
over at the Company Man.
The Company Man.
I want to talk about your label situation again, because I think there's a lot to learn from that. You know, one of the lines you say here, you know, because I was blackballed by capitalists. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, it was a play on words, capitalist. I said, blackballed by capitalists for being activists, and I didn't have 10 million stacks to live. Intentionally sabotage my career means you attack my kids. That's where I was at. Like Jeff from DTP, and well, DTP, Luda and them were really, really supportive. I just saw him at the Roots picnic, Jeff. No, I'm sorry, I saw Shaka Zulu. And they were always very, very supportive of me. And I remember, you know, me not getting along with the label at all. And they had Chingy at Priority Records. And he's selling, you know, Chingy's records. He's going gold, Luda's going platinum, whatever. Luda and them was like, well, look, because we had been friends through Patchworks and all that and Homeboys. And I remember Jeff and Shaka and Luda, they're just like, well, look, man, you know, I'm sure we can make a deal with him. Like, why don't you, because you are a homeboy, we know you're super talented. Why don't we just go in and we'll just make you DTP? Which, you know, shit. You know, we gotta assist with production, make sure, you know, so you get the Luda records. I'm like, fuck it, yeah, great. Sounds great to me. I don't like these people. They I don't want to be my management. You know what I'm saying? They chased away other management, but maybe they'll listen to you guys because you guys are already super successful. They want a relationship, and I'll never forget. It was right before, like fourth quarter, right before, you know what I'm saying, like Christmas, and everybody shuts down for like a month, and I remember Jeff. I'm gonna say this stuff because it's, I don't think this, I'm not saying nothing that's gonna incriminate or make them bad anyway, but I remember Jeff called me, and he's like really dejected. And I'm like, what's wrong? You know what I'm saying? It's like right before, you know, it's gonna be Christmas, the New Year's, and then the industry's basically, everybody's crashing out. Well, not crashing out. The industry's over from the 14th until the 14th of next month or whatever, January, after New Year's. And he's super dejected. He's like, man, we just went up there, had the meeting, and he told me the quote that the vice president said. He sat and talked to her, kind of had this projection, like, we could get these results, like, you know what I'm saying? Plus, here's the rub. It don't cost you nothing. We'll just take Ras under our wing, and then you never have to talk to him again. But we could make his records big because we really think Ras is a dope artist, and you know what I'm saying? He just didn't have a support system, so we're gonna be a support system. And I remember Jeff said that Wendy Goldstein said, "Oh, his career's over already." So it wasn't about money. That's capitalist. It was just to kill it. It was more sinister than wanting not, you know what I'm saying, it got personal. How dare you, black guy, tell me something when I just kill your career. This is ego. And I remember that was that, and that's when I kind of had to make some decisions about what I was going to do while I was in this litigation and how long it would take and whether I was going to have to go kill some people. You keep it honest.
Yeah.
I told my mother that, and I wrote my manifesto. I wasn't going to go in there and hurt people, random people. I was going to hurt the people. You want to play with my life, and then I'll kill you, and then you can. I'm never going to go to prison over it.
That's deep. That's hella deep, y'all. Look, I didn't want to just end it on that. It was a lot more that I wanted to put, but of course, I didn't want to just overdo it with the interview. But again, the rest of the interview is over at the company, man. I forgot to put it in the description, but him saying that, where he ended off with wanting to unalive a few people, because I know people in the music industry. They told me the same thing. These people will jerk you so hard and so much that they'll push you to that extreme. And I get it. If you're an artist, your art. That's your art. You do what you do. But he said it, and I said, whoa. But let's go back. Let's go back with what he said when he said he was dealing with DTP, and then he mentioned the Roots picnic, and that piqued both our interests, right, Jag?
I mean, I guess it piqued your interest. It didn't pique mine. What it piqued was my stanky nose. Like, somebody farted in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what's so funny is I'm sitting there listening to him tell this story, and I'm kind of baffled. Like, I'm just baffled, in all honesty. And the reason why I'm baffled is because how the hell did you think you was going to do business with Luda and them, and they was going to go to Wendy Goldstein and then come back to you with it's on and popping? Like, how did you not see? This is the funny thing. These dudes will sit there and they'll pretend. And what they'll do is they'll get your hopes up, and they'll have you thinking that they already know it ain't going down.
Mm-hmm.
They already know that. They didn't need to have a meeting. They knew it wasn't going to happen. They did that to fuck with him.
It was wasting his time. Yeah, exactly. And fucking with him.
To get your hopes up, to make you think that there's a possibility, because they want to see how desperate you are. They want to see if you're willing to beg for it. The simple fact that the name Wendy Goldstein comes up at all, and she said his career's already over. Wendy Goldstein was my A&R. I know Wendy Goldstein. I used to go shopping with Wendy Goldstein. I know Wendy Goldstein. I know all of the black rappers that she used to have sex with. I know everything.
Oh.
I remember what she used to do with the Roots. I remember everything. I remember when Wendy Goldstein first started working against me, once she started making reports that I was going to be hard to contain.
Wow.
I know Wendy Goldstein. I remember Wendy Goldstein when she was married to her hairdresser husband, who she kept trying to convince everybody wasn't gay when we all knew he was gay. Which is why I thought it was interesting when Wendy Goldstein ended up being girlfriend to a rapper named Lonnie Lynn, also known as Common. Yeah.
Oh.
She was his handler when he moved to LA.
Oh.
After Erica left him high and dry, and he found out she was pregnant by the DOC when we thought it was M1's baby. See, there's a lot of history there.
Oh man, this damn. Go ahead. Wow.
After Wendy Goldstein and her hairdresser husband went separate ways, she was in a relationship with Common. Matter of fact, I think it's the only time we've ever heard about Lonnie Lynn being in a relationship with a white woman. Not only a white woman, a Jap, a Jewish American princess.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Wow. Okay.
She's the one that walked him through the door. She's the one that got him in the mix. She's the one that got him in the film, see? With all of her
Ooh.
contacts and connections.
So she's somebody in the industry that has heavy sway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And her
And
having the
she's
ability.
and she is she comes from a very, very, very powerful Jewish family who has
Yeah,
deep ties in the entertainment industry.
yeah. Well, her having the ability to sit Ras Kass down like that. Wow. Okay.
Having the ability. You mean her following through with orders? Because she's not. If she, you see what I'm saying?
I got you.
She
you.
was like Sylvia Rome, but like a sleeper cell version of Sylvia Rome.
Got it. Okay. So
Like Wendy Goldstein's name is only gonna hit with people who are in the industry. You don't really hear people talking about her publicly like that, and that's for a reason.
right. Yeah, the unseen, the hidden hand that that be really doing the damn thing. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. You
She
broke it
chased
down.
after every prominent black rapper in the cultist rap movement. I could tell you pretty much just about everybody. She put her mouth on, or she put her you know what to. Like,
Whoa.
she was a handler.
Whoa.
Period.
Wow.
She was a handler.
Wow.
Which is why I thought it was very interesting that she ended up with Common.
Yeah.
You want to know what's funny?
What's up?
Wendy Goldstein was the one to tell me that Erica wasn't having no SCX with Common. She was the one that told me that.
Oh, snap.
She was the one that told me it was a whole fake relationship PR thing. She was the one that actually confirmed that to me. It was Wendy.
Wow.
I've known Wendy a long time. And the thing that tripped me out was when I finally realized what Wendy was. That was when, boom, I knew. Like the way they take people and they put people in these certain pockets.
Yeah.
To make sure. And see, that goes to let me know that Ras Kass never really knew his true value. Because the truth is, if there were a rapper to pick up that revolutionary, hard-hitting, conscious black man mentality, that mantle that Tupac was finally starting to claim and really put on, like Ras Kass was the only person. Isn't it funny how he got shut down?
Yeah.
And let's be very clear. Wendy Goldstein and the Roots are very much so in league. They're her puppets.
See, this is interesting because you were breaking it down, and I said, wait, when we were looking at this interview, and
like, I just find it funny. You sitting at the Roots picnic, you sitting there thinking that Ludacris really respects you and really looking out for you, and you don't realize that these people are plants and gatekeepers amongst their own. They offered him that, and they put that there because they wanted to see how serious they was. I guarantee you, he let them listen to records. I guarantee you, they was like, oh yeah, he hard hitting. It's all recon.
Yeah.
They weren't gonna give him no deal. They weren't gonna look him out at all. They weren't gonna do nothing for him.
Well,
they just wanted to see how desperate he was.
He already had a deal, and like I said, he was respected in rap circles, but the music industry, like I said, they already had him marked for the nature of the threat song and what he was about. And when you broke it down and you said after Pac, because let me tell y'all this, I was 17. No, I just turned 18 when I met Ras Kass. Shout out to Q Ball from the Dog Pound. He took me over to Raz's house, and I say shit. A year prior, I just purchased Soul on Ice, and I soaked that album up, and it was one of my favorite. It was on repeat. The tape. I had the tape, bumping through L.A. in my little bucket, playing the heck out of that tape. And I was actually sitting with this dude, and I'm like, "Yo, dude," and he's just a regular dude, chilling, and just humble, cool. Well, I ain't gonna say humble, but Ras is Ras. Anyway, my guy, this was, mind y'all, this was right before Biggie was unalive, and this was right after Pac got taken out. So I'm sitting there talking to him, and he's telling me about, his connections to, certain artists. And, I know he had a connection to Chino XL. Rest in peace, Chino XL. Very, very dope, underrated artist from New Jersey. And I like Chino too. I love Chino. Chino had a dope album, and they had that one song. Him and Ras had a song called Riot. And Chino made it his duty to disrespect Pac on that album. Said, something about Pac getting effed in jail. And that's why on Hit 'Em Up, you hear Pac say, Chino XL, F you too. Because he was going in on everybody. Ras was, not gonna say afraid. Ras was apprehensive at that time. He was like, yeah, when that album came out and when Hit 'Em Up came out, I swore Pac was gonna diss me because I did that joint with Chino. But he said Pac didn't diss him. So that gave him a pass in the industry. Because if Pac dissed you, that's why people, shout out, rest in peace to Pimp C. Pimp C did not want to do that song Big Pimpin' with Jigga because Pac didn't sanction Jigga. And called him Hawaiian Sophie fame, blah, blah, blah. If Pac called you out, you were pretty much done industry-wise. You get what I'm saying? So Ras had a healthy apprehension, I'll say, when it came to that. But Pac never dissed him. That was cool. Pac probably would have certified him. And like you said, he could have been that person to pick up the mantle.
With what he had going on, absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't think he realized they encroached all around him to make sure he went nowhere. East Coast and West Coast.
Yeah. He pretty much
like there's no way Wendy Goldstein had it out for you and the Roots was looking out for you. No way.
Right.
No way.
Right. Yeah, and you said the Roots. Because he mentioned the Roots. I think he mentioned, he mentioned the Roots, and then he mentioned Black Thought in the same interview.
Yeah. Talking about what a great MC he was and how he got overshadowed by the great group that he came from. What great group? They don't even believe that they were a great group in hip hop. If they actually thought that they were a great group in hip hop, they would have never signed that deal with Jimmy following a phallus to sit there and be his minstrel show band. They would have never done that. Ever. Do you think Outkast would have done it?
No. No, not at all.
Do you think UGK would have done it?
No, not at all.
Do you think like this is the thing that trips me out, and it's so wild because people aren't paying attention. The reason why the Roots signed the deal with the Jimmy Fallon show was because of the massive IRS debt that they had. Like, it had gotten to the point where the IRS was coming to their shows and collecting their back end. It was so bad.
Damn.
It was looking like people were going to be going to jail for it. And they had commingled all of our budgets, including my budget. They stole money. They did all kinds of stuff. Like, these people owe me and other artists who work for the label so much, but ain't nobody really going to talk about that. People want to act like that doesn't matter. So doing the gig with Jimmy Fallon gave them steady cash so that they could pay down their IRS debt. And then they were still trying to go on the road. But unfortunately, the show had gotten to the point where the show was so expensive. It was too expensive for them to be opening acts because, once again, hip hop had changed.
Yeah.
Hip hop had changed.
Yeah.
Like, they were doing shows where they were forced to open up for Chamillionaire.
Really?
Yeah. So they weren't headliners. And why weren't they headliners? Because they were none of the cool kids, and they didn't have enough hit records. They just had the Grammy.
So from what you were saying, though, about their relation to the Wendy chick and
Wendy Goldstein,
Wendy Goldstein
Wendy Goldstein used the Black conscious movement to figure out who the real threats were and to figure out who would capitulate, and then to tweak hip hop in the direction that the powers that be wanted it to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wendy Goldstein's main job in the conscious rap and neo soul era was to destroy it, to diffuse it.
Yeah, there was already a division going on at the time. New York, from what it sounds like back day, never respected West Coast or LA, even let's just say the whole West Coast, or MCs that are outside of LA or out of New York, outside of New York, because it was they ain't got it, son. They ain't got lyrics, or they this or that. I remember the South used to get dogged out, but Outkast, shout out to Outkast and Dre. I mean, and the South got something to say. But
I just wonder how Ras Kass would feel if he knew exactly how much respect that the Roots really didn't have for him.
Well, let's talk about it. That's why I wanted to talk about.
Like, I don't think people understand. They sold out. Like, and that's the thing that really bothers me. They sold out. They were there to play gatekeeper because they were never going to be Wu-Tang Clan. They were there to play gatekeeper because they were never going to. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
And what a great group. That's why anytime I hear like people are consorting with certain people, I'm just sitting there looking like, do you really believe that?
Yeah. Yeah.
This interview with Ras Kass was real interesting because I was just sitting there and I'm listening to him, and he's sitting there, he's talking real talk, but at the same time, I'm watching him still. Let me not go too far. Let me not go too far.
Yeah.
Let me get this off. And then let me bite my tongue here and bite my tongue there. And that's a shame. But it reminds me something that Tupac once said in an interview. There are no old revolutionaries.
Yeah.
Black men after the age of 30 are broken. They're just not going to go far, no matter how much knowledge they have. And that's another reason why they like to create these generational divides in our culture, because for the elders to arm the youth with the real tools that they need to reclaim their culture, to reclaim their identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need the youth for the action, and you need the elders for the wisdom. That's how it's supposed to
Exactly.
go.
And you put all of that together, and what you have is something that's very powerful. Very powerful. But if the youth don't respect the elders, and if the elders don't take the time to look back to the youth, I mean, the truth is I'm looking at a lot of what's going on in hip hop right now, and it's kind of crazy. Like I just saw that performance with Papoose, and I'm just like, what the hell was that? What the hell was that? And he's sitting up there talking like he's got this song, and it's just talking about money. I got money. I got money. I got money. And it's almost as if you did all of this so that you could diffuse what Remy Ma said about you living off of women.
Got it. Ooh.
And on top of that, it's not a dope. He's not a dope performer. He's not very charismatic. He doesn't. You know what I mean? And the relationship with him and Clarissa Shields, it's becoming embarrassing, like for the both of them. Like it's becoming very, very, very embarrassing. But that's what they want. That's what they want people to see.
Let's not.
He was able. I'm not steering away. What I'm saying is he sacrificed his black family.
Yeah.
Publicly, very publicly.
Yeah.
And this is what's going on. You know what I mean? It looks a mess. It all looks a mess. And once again, this is what they're doing to hip hop. This is what they've been doing in hip hop. But yeah, no, the second that I heard him start talking about Wendy Goldstein, I'm sitting up there like, and you trust the cats that you think respect you? Because they all bow down.
You're saying, for the most part, groups like the Roots, they'll block real talent that doesn't fit a formula. I put that in the description because it's somewhat true, because like we were talking about Roots albums in general. Number one, I'm not dogging out the Roots or whatever, but I do side eye them a lot of times. Like, check this out. They had Do You Want More, that first album. I think they had an album before. It was like an underground album they had before that, I think. But Do You Want More was the shit. Okay, it was a little bit maybe ahead of the time. Then they dropped Philadelphia Half-Life. And then it was like
Half-Life was awesome.
It was. I had that tape too, because I had that tape after. I had the tape around the same time Ras was had dropped Solo Nights, Real Spill. There was so much good hip hop at the time. That was that was a good premiere album. I mean, not a premiere, but it was a good second album that the Roots dropped. Yeah. But then after that, it was kind of like, okay, what
things fall apart.
And it seems like some things fell apart. Not saying it wasn't a bad album. I'm not saying it wasn't a bad album.
They started going commercial.
And that's what I meant by the formula.
They started going commercial. And that was when, the fellas started just really getting into the pop culture side of things. That's when, and it's so crazy because we were all there in it. And I think we all kind of got seduced by all the little bubbles and the things and the champagne and the weed and the wine and the expensive restaurants and fashion, and all of the stuff that they trap artists with. But I started realizing everything was starting to change little by little by little by little by little by little. And even the way, because the Roots they were right there. Like, this is what's so funny. They were supposed to be conscious rap, correct? They're supposed to be legacy. They're supposed to be history. They're supposed to be black. Like, I remember when they pretty much pimped Mumia to sell that whole revolutionary thing, just like the Jigga Man did with Chacon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't really hear them. I think like Amir did they put out a documentary about one of the guys whose parents was in the move, and talking about their struggles through jail and all of that stuff that was going on. And honestly, that was kind of like a lightweight mea culpa because they didn't do anything to help anybody from move. Not for real, for real.
Yeah.
They didn't do shit. They sat there and they ran their mouth and they talked and they used it and they used it.
Yeah.
But, you know, especially running around screaming Mumia's name. You know, Mumia Ajubal, like, Abu Jamal, like, you know, just screaming Mumia's name, screaming Mumia's name. And, you know, so this is what they sold. But there was somebody who was working with Amir. He was Amir's hype man when Amir was, you know, breaking into his DJ era. And Amir was DJing at the bowling alleys and stuff like that, the high-end bowling alleys or whatever, and doing some lounges. His name is Yamin. Now, Yamin was a part of the crew. He was, you know, he was around. He at one point in time he helped manage Floetry, you know, and until that ended with Jay Irving. And you know, he was just kind of, Yamin was just kind of out there flailing a little bit. He was a part of, our that era, the culture. It was still real culture at that time.
Yeah.
You know, we had John Barber who was doing his thing. We had Black Lily, and we were doing our thing. You know, we were maintaining before everything went completely haywire. But Yamin was hype man to Amir. It was Yamin who started working with all of the little young boy rappers in Philly and pushing drill culture. Like, I'll never forget when I first started hearing about the kind of stuff, and I'm like, yo, what is Yamin on? Like, what's he on? What's going on? And they like, yeah, all the little young boys, you know, they going over to Yamin's house and they making records at Yamin's house. And I'm sitting up there like, that don't even add up. That don't even add up. And then that's when I started realizing that he was scouting talent for Amir to pimp off to the Rock Nation shit.
Ooh, okay. All right.
So I'm sitting there like, and then when I start looking into what this drill shit is, and I'm like, yo, these niggas they're selling death. And then they got these little niggas out in the street doing all of this crazy work in the street and then coming into the studio and rapping about it.
So it's like this then. It's like,
so how do you have people that were tied to and anchors of the conscious movement ushering in this shit on the low?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's like
in your own city. This is what.
Yeah, like, that's what I was about to say. It's like you got is a damn what do you call a damn thing?
A pipeline.
It's very bipolar where you start off with the Mumia and the, you know, Black Power, this and that or whatever movement, but then you got someone on the back end ushering in a type of drill movement. That's wild. That's wild.
Like, and I don't think nobody really knows or understands that. I don't think anybody understands that Questlove and his sidekick Yamin were the ones who were fostering drill culture in Philadelphia. And look at what's going on now in Philly.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of death and destruction, lots of it,
and apparently STDs. Like,
okay, yeah, damn.
Like, it's wild.
Well, look, Jag. Let me start wrapping this because we ain't gonna be here too long. Look, I put in there. I just basically said it sounds like certain individuals block real talent that doesn't fit a formula, or now I'm looking at it. It's like they're now creating, or they created a certain option to go into a death culture or death spiral for real hip hop, because people like you, and let me go back to Ras too. Ras Kass he's been called one of the greatest lyricists of all time. Just like I'm gonna put a candle I'll compare it to you because to me, you're one of the greatest singers of all time, right? You. So your experience going through the entertainment industry, music industry, is similar to what I've seen with Raz. Now Raz is doing. He's not living under a bridge, and he mentally is still like. When I looked at this interview, this dude was still on point. Like, some things have changed. I definitely can tell. Like, listening to him 30-something, 20-something, 30-something years back versus now, things have changed, but he's still on point, and he still bars up. He's still a dope. Like I just got his album. I just went and got that album FAFO, and I'm gonna take a listen. I was one of the dudes who was always buying. I bought every Raz album. I may have skipped maybe a couple, but I've from Adidas on back, and the one with Apollo Brown, and he's got dope projects, and he just doesn't get his flowers. And I know the industry.
He's not going to. He's not going to. And that's the thing. He's not going to. They're going to make sure of it. But the very people that he's sitting around, it's so funny because, you were talking about, T-Pain, sitting with Shay Shay talking about don't call any of these people your brothers because they're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't trust nobody in the industry. This whole industry is fake.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
And guess what? And he played the game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I also know that Ras Kass has children that are in the game as well.
Dope. Young artists. They got their group Coast Contra, and I've always been promoting them. Shout out to them, Raz and Taj. They're dope as hell, and I think he has to kind of bite his tongue because that's what it is.
Well, listen to me. If you want it, all of it is danger. You start standing up too much, you end up like me with cremation ashes. I see it. I see it all over him. It's just sad. It's sad. It's even old lions like to roar, but it's still sad.
Yeah.
It's still sad because that goes to show you how real the pressure is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That pressure is very real. And, just in that clip that you played earlier, with him talking about he had to figure out who he was going to go handle up on. That wasn't no game.
That was real shit. I know that.
That wasn't no game. The question is he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Did he? He didn't. If he didn't, then why not?
Well,
what changed?
Let me break it down. From what I have observed about Raz, and not trying to, talk mess about him or anything like that, but after he had an album, Van Gogh, it never was officially a release, but Ras Kass had that album, and after that, because he's been trying to get off of Capitol Records, and he during that time, this was like in the mid to 2000s, he ended up doing jail time. And this was around I remember this. I do remember this because I remember going to go see him as soon as he got out of jail. He did a show with KRS-One in downtown LA, and it was dope as hell. This was like late 2004. He had got out of jail because he was in jail for 2 years for a DUI. And then he went back to jail for violating his probation in 2007. So I honestly think you say, why didn't he handle up? I think it's because of, the law. His dad is a former, I think his dad retired cop.
People don't like going to jail. I tell you that they don't.
And it'll
Neither do I.
And I think he got targeted. Like I said, I know his dad was. I think his dad, not cop, sheriffs, I believe, Compton or Carson sheriffs. I forget. I may be wrong, but something like that. His dad was definitely in law enforcement.
I have no doubt in my mind Ras Kass was a targeted individual. I have no doubt in my mind, no different than me. The question is, once you've realized that, where do you move to next from there, or how do you move? And for me, what I had to learn along the way was that I had to let go of everything and anything that had anything to do with this business at all.
Yeah.
There is no trust. There is no, it's funny because, there's so many people who I remembered, how do I say this? Let me choose my words carefully. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Let me think about that.
Okay. Well, I got a question.
Sure.
Essentially, talk about your career in like I said, I compared it to what Ras went through. And let's just say it's almost like an industry mirror. After
to a certain extent.
After hearing his breakdown of how the industry boxed him in and what they did, and I just, like I said, I just told you he did, actually did 3 stints of jail time, but he did 2 while he was in the industry. Is there any part of what he said hit you hard? Like what did it reveal about how the business treats artists who don't play the game?
I mean, I can't say that anything hit me hard or anything like that. It's just, that's the protocol. That's what hit me. There is a protocol for those who do not play along.
Yeah.
And he stated that very eloquently. There is a protocol if you do not play along. And I'm just, like that comment that I showed you the other day, and somebody talking about D'Angelo, and I had, screenshotted it, and they were talking about, forget about the whole thing and this, that, and the other, and this gossip, and asking about what that drummer from the Roots was doing with D'Angelo right before he passed away. And it's interesting because I don't remember anybody saying anything about that. That was not public knowledge. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and I just look at people. What I am grateful for is I'm grateful that he's still alive to teach, to share his knowledge. I'm glad that he's still alive to be able to be a father to his children. I hope he's able to guide them. And I'm gonna pray for him, because his kids in this industry, with him being who he is a threat to them, whether anybody wants to say it or not. Lauryn Hill still being alive and her kids being in the industry, it is a threat.
Yeah.
Regardless, I just don't think that people really believe how this stuff really works and how serious it actually is.
Ras did a song, not etc. Well, Sunset on his first album, and he said, I'm a rap fan who never saw Bam rock the park in the Bronx, but I still snap skulls in the dark. Meaning, just because he's from the West Coast don't mean that he can't get busy lyrically, and he's proven that. He's shown that. So he got the love, but if he'd have got the same, like the right support early on in his career from like people like the Roots, because I mean, it sounds like he's friends with the Roots, but I don't know if you want to say it publicly or whatever, but you know, if you said the Roots were clowning him behind the scenes, it's kind of like that's not real support. Like
They laughed at everybody who got blackballed. They laughed at everybody who got sat down. They laughed at everybody.
mm,
And they were grateful that they got to keep getting their money, which is why I said I find it funny that Wendy Goldstein was his Grim Reaper and they're loyal to her. And you think they got your best interest at heart.
nah, that says
That's
a lot.
interesting.
That says a lot. And that's why I wanted to do this video, because I'm like, just take this as a example in life, y'all. Like you'll have people around you who you think are in support of you or really, you know, got your back, you know.
No, it's just funny though, because he's sitting there and he's talking about how terrible his own people have treated him and how LA didn't look out for him and how LA didn't do right by him. And he's absolutely right. But the thing is you came and you started dealing with East Coast cats and you didn't see that you was dealing with the same thing.
Yeah.
You're dealing with the same thing.
Bunch of these East Coast cats, and let me just I'll put some people on.
No, because that's what he was sitting there talking about. He was sitting there talking about how he went in the East Coast cats and whoopty woo and yada yada yada. They were all watching you, dude. They were all watching you.
They were all licking their chops. Let's just say
they were all not even licking their chops. They was watching you. They weren't supporting you. They were watching you and reporting back.
Well, it's funny that you have a connection to the Roots, just like he had somewhat of a connection to the Roots.
He didn't have no connection to the Roots. What he had was association with them. I was there.
Well, you were there.
I was crew. I was in.
And let's just
say,
I
know how these dudes talk, and I'm not trying to be, start no craziness, start nothing, but it's just I always find it funny when people show respect to people who for real don't got no respect for them, especially when you're a great one. And that's why I said it's just funny to me, because listening to him and like, it's amazing that you have this much insight, but you still blind certain things. Like, to have that much insight and still be that blind is scary. It's scary. Like, I'll never forget the first time I realized I was sitting in an enemy camp that I thought was friendly. You move away from your folks who's hating on you and you think it's this and you think it's that. Like, when I left Philly and I moved to Dallas, I had to learn exactly what that was really hitting for.
Okay.
Like, you remember the Frenchie boy. The people that I was working with. I was there to be a supporting, positive spot for them. And meanwhile, all they was doing was spying on me and reporting back. And it didn't become clear to me until somebody told me a story that I knew for a fact only 3 people knew. And one of those people was Amir Questlove Thompson. Which means the only way you could have found that out is if it had come from him. You see what I'm saying? I had moved over 1,500 miles away from home. I had started building new associations and building new this. I'm in the studio working with this producer, that producer. Meanwhile, it was all right there it's so funny. I love it when people say you're paranoid because all you doing is telling on yourself.
Well, you can get he can get his bitch ass up out of here like I just did. Got his bitch ass
Wild.
out of here. So
It's just wild because that goes to show you even in the midst of being knee deep in turkey and gravy, the
you
watchers are still watching.
you a grown ass man and you out here doing it. Get your get out of here, bro. You're whack. Go ahead. We're gonna wrap this up though. Go ahead.
And it's just so funny to me because I don't think people realize that dragnet is real. It's real. They're all watching. They're all paying attention. And the best thing you can do when you realize that you are an enemy of the industry is to take that seriously.
Yeah, don't play with it. Don't play.
Not at all. Not at all. And for those who aren't sure about anything, I'm going to tell you this right now. When people start talking about, oh, this is paranoid or that's paranoid, whatever the case may be, don't ever let anybody trick you into believing that sound judgment is paranoid.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that don't pay attention to sound judgment. Oh, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm this. Maybe I'm that. I might be paranoid. I might be this. I might be that. When we started talking about the Sammy situation, and I think we should look deeper into that. It's
You know,
very
we got to. We got to.
because, like I keep trying to explain to people, when it comes to industry infiltration, they got so many ways to come at a person, and they have so many different means on how to do it. You want to know what's funny? I remember once upon a time when the things that I look at and I take seriously now, I used to be like, "Oh, you're tripping. You tripping. You just being paranoid. You tripping. You tripping." But when you see the evidence of it and you get to realize what it really is, you go back and you start thinking about everything that you ignored, and you start seeing the evidence of how it all went down. I mean, there are things that you've seen since you've been getting to know me, since you've been working with me, that you probably wouldn't believe.
Yeah. Yep.
And now we got Sammy. And Sammy is going through a whole lot. And I would implore people, please keep Sammy, the singer Sammy, in your prayers because
Yeah. It's a
into
lot
the
of spiritual.
situation,
It's some spiritual stuff, in my opinion. Spiritual warfare. But
spiritual warfare. He just recently, just this year, ended up getting arrested.
yeah. And then the mom situation. You know what?
And then the situation with his mom and what happened with her, and the fact that they have her in a mental institution right now.
yeah.
And it was real weird because Cam Newton, he's looking like a lot of these podcast people, like the Cam Newtons, the Shay Shays, like all of these people. Y'all better start looking at these people for who they really are. Y'all better start seeing these people for who they really are, because he did that on purpose. He did that just to break that boy down.
Yeah.
There was no need to talk about that situation. There was so many other things to talk about. So many other things to talk about. But then for him to sit there and for him to just like sweep what he had to say under the rug about the gang stalking, because I guarantee you, Ras Kass probably experienced his own form of some of that stuff going on back in the day. Because
Yeah.
when they blackball you, they don't just blackball you. They're actively working to make sure that you can't work, that you can't do anything. Like the simple fact that it took him 10 years to get off of that label goes to prove that they held him there to keep him there past his prime
Yeah, 10
in
years.
10 years.
If he'd
They
have got,
to make sure he couldn't go nowhere else. They signed him to make sure that he couldn't compete. They signed him to cut him off while they promoted this one and they promoted that one.
and he talked about the DTP, and he couldn't even get over to them. And if he had got free at around like 02 when he was trying to really get off the label, and if he'd have got with DTP and all that, that would have been a great move. I don't know how it would have worked out per se, but I know he was doing songs with Jazzy Faye back in the day, back in the 90s. He was doing songs with Jazzy Faye or whatever when Jazzy Faye was straight singing. So
And kept him on the shelf to make sure that he missed his prime, to make sure that he missed it. And when they go through that much trouble to do that, they don't stop.
yeah. Well, look.
Listen to me. If he had a sign with Rockefeller, that would have been catastrophic for him. He might not even be here. You want to know who else was about to sign with Rockefeller? That was an amazing talent, Big L. And he was snuffed out and taken up out of this world 6 hours before he put his signature on the contract.
Yeah, that's crazy. Rest in peace to him. Also, it's funny. Eminem was trying to sign the Bad Boy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Once upon a time.
I couldn't even see like Eminem on Bad Boy. I don't know. That would have been, I don't know.
He would have been the first Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah. No, you're right. And he would have been ahead of his time a little too. It's almost like I would even. He was better off with Dre. And then speaking of Eminem, everybody don't know that Ras gave Eminem his Ras is really the one that gave him the cosign. Of course, Proof was there, and I think Ras was cool with a lot of them Detroit dudes. But
Ras had more cachet at that time, though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think people realize exactly the trajectory that Ras Kass was on before they came for him.
I know. And we can finalize the conversation by talking about that. The industry knew who was coming. I said Ras Kass, if you're from the LA and you remember the 90s, there was a magazine called Rap Pages. Ras was on there. AC Alone was on there. Medusa, shout out to the Gangsta Goddess. And rest in peace, not Self Jupiter. It was Ganja K. Ganja K was on there on the cover. And they were like, who's next coming out the West type of situation. And all of them were signed, but Ras is the one that got out a little bit more out the gate. And they still did him like how they did him or whatever. You mark the threat
and you mark the threat. And it's just that simple. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah, classic. Yeah, man, appreciate it. You already know, man. We go in, and in fact, we'll do more because I think I want to talk more about the situation about the Sammy stuff. I think y'all need to be peeping at as well. Maybe we'll do that on Jags. I don't know, but I was gonna troll y'all today. I was gonna do something about Candace Owens, and I said I'm gonna leave that alone.
Why?
Well, let's just do it over on yours because I think we could clip it and turn it into something. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. But this is on brand with me. This topic is on brand with me. Again, shout out to the company, man. Y'all go follow them. Y'all go check out that interview.
Yeah, y'all should definitely go see that interview. I mean,
the whole interview, and leave a comment. Just say, Set in the West brought y'all there or whatever. It's a very interesting interview, and it's good. Like, okay, Jag, how many good interviews have you been in or done in your career? Like when I started out on my underground shit, there's a DJ, a voice jockey, or he was on the beat, he was on a radio in LA, and then Corn Dog. A lot of people know Corn Dog. And Corn Dog is cool as hell. He gave me like the best interview of my freaking career as like trying to be on some MC ish. And I've been interviewing since like the late 90s. And that dude gave me, I was like, yo, because the thing is the person there has to be some type of like they gotta be able to resonate with where you come from, you being an artist, blah, blah, blah. Corn Dog was like a hip hop head. You know, he's into music. So he gave me the best interview, and I got to get a hold of Nelson because I need to get a copy of that damn interview. But long story short, there's only so many people I think that can just really give you a dope interview. Who's giving you a really good interview?
I mean, in all honesty, I think any and
Wendy,
every interview that I've done have
Wendy
been
Williams?
great.
Wendy Williams? No?
Well, no. I mean, my interview with Wendy was amazing. We had a great time. And it was highly aired. And yeah, like, and that's how I can honestly say and know that, salute to Wendy Williams. They shut her down because she didn't do like when Wendy came at you 95%. She was 95% accurate on pretty much everything. And I would know because I sat down with her, and she dipped into stuff that I was shocked that she found out about. And once I, talked to her a little bit more, I knew exactly where she got that information from. And I'm like, oh, okay, she hella thorough. She's hella thorough.
Yeah.
And it's sad that, in this day and age, these kids don't have a Wendy Williams to really, look to, like it went from, having someone like Wendy Williams who values reliable source work. She might not give away her sources, but if she needs to cite her sources, she can.
Yeah.
And now instead, it's just a bunch of people listening to Trash the Grouch, who's nothing but a liar. Like when you look at just all of that, it's sad. It's sad. Meanwhile, this lying idiot is running all over the internet, making a mockery of information. And Wendy Williams has been sitting in a conservatorship while people are lying, saying that she had dementia and she didn't.
Yeah, pathetic.
And it's wild because there were people who were around her, who worked around her, who it seemed like everybody was just so cool with everything that happened to her. And it's just, it's really sad. Like I was thinking about when we were talking about the interview that she did with Black China and the way they had her on camera, and they were like, they were lining her up in that interview. They had lined her up in that interview.
Okay.
Like the way they had her when she was drinking, and they had all of that on camera. Like they made sure, like, and I'm just like, and now looking at stuff that's going on with Britney Spears, I'm like, man, they really work hard to and I guess I'm hyper aware of it because of the stuff that they've tried to pull with me. I mean, they've tried to label me schizophrenic. They tried to call me crazy. If the crazy thing don't work, then she's a liar and she's a this and she's crazy liar. She's a this, that. The simple fact that they were even trying to find a way to put me into a mental health program just so that they could put the she's crazy so nobody will believe anything that I say on me. And it's funny because they were literally sitting here on YouTube saying that I went to a mental health diversion program and saying that I was in the program and saying this and saying that, when the truth is I was never in the program. I couldn't be accepted into the program because I was sane. There was nothing wrong with me. I wasn't mentally ill. But when people want to create that narrative, they're going to do whatever they have to do to push that narrative. And if not, then they're going to find a way to try to put a case on you. So I say all of that to bring us back to Sammy. And I'm very interested. I'm just really, after hearing about his mom being gang stalked and what it did to her, and just listening to what he was saying and talking about how she didn't trust cell phones, she didn't trust the television, you know, she felt like she was being followed. What was that one song? I know it feels like somebody's watching me. How can it be? You remember that one?
Yeah, Rockwell.
Yeah. Even Sting's song, the greatest stalker song of all time. Every breath you take, every move you make. And it's kind of sad that did he use that for Biggie?
Yeah, I know.
Like, I don't even think anybody's paying attention that was a stalker song that they tried to give a gospel feel to. And he didn't even get permission from Sting. He stole it. He still has. They're still. Sting is still getting paid
Mm-hmm.
$100 off of that record. Like, you totally went broke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you
Mm-hmm.
went broke stealing this record. But when you think about the original lyrics of the song, and then you think about Biggie in his last days said he felt like he was being watched, felt like he was being stalked, felt like, yeah.
Well, it likely was, because there's document photos of feds watching them, and then the whole thing. Remember when the crash? Yeah, like there was a crash that happened, months before he got unalived.
And broke his leg,
Yep.
and broke his leg in several places.
Yep.
He was having all kinds of issues. They were worried about embolisms from the bone marrow cracks, and it's sending stuff through his bloodstream. Like, there was a lot of stuff going on. But in Sammy's case, I'm very interested because I don't think a lot of people know that Sammy actually got involved with some internet stalkers. I don't even think he knew he was involved with internet stalkers. Internet stalkers that operate right here on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And these are people that I can tell you for a fact will stalk your family. They will gang stalk your family. They'll stalk your friends. They'll stalk you at your job. Like, I'm still wondering whether or not Poetic Flacco is ever going to get into detail and talk about his situation, because there were people that came after him when he first started, moving up in the game and making money in the game. And he was working a regular job at first. They contacted the CEO of his job to have his job. Like, these behaviors sound very specific to a certain kind of people.
Yeah.
And then apparently they came up with paperwork. They invented paperwork to make him look like he was on the SA registry list.
That's
And was
crazy.
passing that around. And he had to go and prove that it wasn't.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. You want to know what's funny, though? I'm going to tell you what's funny. When you literally sit there and you talk about real stuff and people come into the chat acting stupid, I'm going to let you handle that one.
Oh wait, we got some more stupid people. Hold on, I thought I got rid of them. Well, anyway, we about to just get up out of here. Anyway, yeah.
But his mother, ooh,
Jacqueline Nickerson, we see you. Yes, this is live. We're back to the format we were on, and yeah, that's what it is. Let me get out of here though. I appreciate Jaguar and her commentary, and thanks for being a part of this conversation. And shout out to Nas. We're not clowning Nas. I'm sitting here. I had to pull this up because I had talked about it earlier before I started really getting into the conversation in this stream about people that were capping in hip hop. There was a Twitter, a X account that was like, what was the biggest lie ever told in hip hop? And someone did this. And I y'all see it on the screen. This is Nas, and he says in the one song, was it halftime? He said that, where he said when I was 12, I went to hell for snuffing Jesus. But this was a picture of him at 12 years old. Hilarious. Hilarious. And yeah, Nas, one of the greatest MCs, dropped one of the best albums in hip hop. I'll say that. Illmatic is on par. Best hip hop album to date for me, in my opinion. One of the best. But Ras Kass is just as good because he was honest. That boy Razzie was honest.
He kept all the way a buck. And funny thing is, it cost him everything.
It did. But if you listen to that one song, "The Evil That Men Do," it's sad, and it's all true story on his album. So shout out to Ras Kass, and again, shout out to the company man. Y'all go to check out that rest of that interview. I encourage y'all to check out the rest of that interview. And he got another album coming out called "Leopards Eat Face," and I'm like, yo, I'm looking forward to this one. Trey D and Coast Contra, and yeah, he's got some projects. So yeah, that's what's up. What's the point? Wait, hold on. Somebody wants to be on the Summer Jam screen. Bro, what's the point of this ish? I don't get the point of this. It was the lyrics. You're effing bozo. Your mama's a effing bozo for having your clown ass, you piece of shit. You need to understand that. You need to understand context. But Sean Paul 6736 Eda. Bye-bye.
I find it funny that his name is Sean Paul.
Sean Paul. I gotta hear Sean Paul. Sean Paul. All right, y'all. I think we'll be back later, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's up. We'll see what's up. Anything you gotta say? Oh, appreciate you, Auntie Leah. That's what's up. And yeah, salute to your classic.
Salute, Auntie Leah. Yeah, no, I ain't got nothing.
There's nothing.
Actually, I do have something. Something.
Go ahead.
We could use 100 more likes. Please hit the like button. Replay gang. Keep liking this video. Enjoy your turkey. Yeah, and to all of the hip hop turkeys, stuff it.
All right, y'all. We out.
Peace.
Wolf gang eating sheep, only plan for kicks. Have your sleep 6 feet tucked in while your family weeps.